The red heifers, the red heifer sacrifice, people have been asking me in the comment section of my videos, have I heard any news updates when it comes to the sacrifice of the red heifers in Israel? And I actually do have an update, an important one that we really should be paying close attention to. Because as of right now, Israel has 4 red heifers. They did have 5, one was disqualified early, but they still do have 4. And these 4 red heifers are still without blemish. They still have not been disqualified yet, and they have had these red heifers for quite some time now. I do believe that these red heifers were given to Israel from Texas back in 2022. Now the thing is, there is a smaller sect of people from Israel, a smaller group, and a group of Christians as well that believe that these red heifers are the prophesied red heifers to be sacrificed. And these two groups are very worried that now time is of the essence, and as time progresses, the hairs of these red heifers may start to change. They may now start to show blemishes. But there are others in Israel that are saying, no, we can't sacrifice these red heifers as of yet because they need to be thoroughly monitored by religious leadership and approved. So the target date of the sacrifice is sometime in 2025, but like I said, there are 2 smaller groups, a group of Christians and a smaller group of people from Israel that want to have this sacrifice done now. They are very impatient. For instance, Rabbi Yitzhak Mamo actually wanted the sacrifice to take place on Passover 2024, but others told him that the red heifers still have time to grow. But I do believe the major holdup to the red heifer sacrifice is Israel trying to come up with the best way possible to demolish the Dome of the Rock. Because the Dome of the Rock is the 3rd most holiest site in Islam, and if they do demolish the Dome of the Rock, they might not have the support that they are looking for, and if they demolish the Dome of the Rock, then you're talking about massive conflict breaking out on a global scale. So they may want to secure some geopolitics before they make that move, but then again, the whole world is indeed a stage, so at the end of the day, who really knows? So where we are right now in the red heifer sacrifice is that the 4 remaining red heifers are still in pristine condition, and there is a lot of money, time, and care going into these remaining heifers. There is a very strong push to get this done now, but we may be looking at 2025 for the sacrifice to begin. There are people that do believe the sacrifice has already taken place. That is why we are seeing so many bizarre and strange things lately ever since the April 8th total eclipse. My personal opinion is that I don't think the red heifers have been sacrificed as of yet. I do believe we are in the middle or in phases of a giant ritual currently taking place. I have said in many of my videos that have to do with April 8th, the day of the eclipse, and I still say today that April 8th was a giant ritual between CERN and NASA. Remember, whatever CERN found when they initiated either on April 5th or April 8th, everything ends in a awake facility, and it was supposed to end in this awake facility on April 22nd, the same day as Passover. But oddly enough, CERN said that no, everything's working ahead of schedule. We're going to end everything in this awake facility on April 15th. What I think is happening right now, and remember, this is my own opinion, but what's happening right now is that they are bringing these entities, these demons over, and they are bringing this king demon over if they have not done so already. They are prepping this major demon to be the Antichrist, because remember, when the red heifers are sacrificed, the 3rd temple has already been built, and they purify the 3rd temple, the 3rd temple's instruments, and the priest with the ashes of the red heifer. But for Christians, and I do believe people of Islam, I don't know how that works for Islam, but I do know for people of Christianity, this Messiah is in actuality the false Messiah. This Messiah will walk into the temple, claim to be God, but in actuality, it will be the man of sin, the Antichrist. Demon face syndrome is still a card that will be played in the future if we're talking about CERN, NASA bringing over these demons, if we're talking about the Antichrist. I've also heard people talk about these demons being a part of Project Bluebeam, but you also have to remember the Antichrist, these demons, all fall in line with the Project Bluebeam as well. It's not all about aliens or a false alien war. This Messiah, this false Messiah, is supposed to wave their hand and basically stop everything. We are all supposed to turn to this Antichrist-like figure when the false alien invasion begins. I know I went a little off the rails when it came to this red heifer sacrifice, but I was able to find a very recent video when it comes to the red heifers. It's a very interesting video. It's only 4 minutes long. The red heifers are in the video, and it looks like they are going to go ahead with the sacrifice. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video now.
So I want to see if there is a red heifer, a real kosher red heifer in Israel. This is another prophecy that fulfilled in front of our eyes. We live in a generation that see the prophecies of the Bible. So I want to see if it's real or not. So maybe instead of just explaining you, let's watch the video.
It's good to see you. Hey, now,
What an honor.
Yeah, it's such a great honor to be here with you. But this is your first time to see the red heifers.
I still don't believe you. I want to see it. I want to see
We're
it.
gonna see it.
All right.
I know they're here, and we're gonna see it together. You as a Levite seeing the red heifers for the first time. Maybe there's something significant about this.
Let's see.
Let's see. Yeah.
And it says in the Bible, the red heifer has to have 5 conditions to be a qualified red heifer. It's very hard to find because it has to be totally red. Now, when I say red, you may think of the color of ketchup, but it's actually a color of earth. It's like brownish red. So there are a lot of brown cows in nature, but it has to be perfect, meaning not even 2 hairs in a different color. And it has to be with no blemish, not even a tag on the ear like they tag all the cows today. And no, not used for anything else. Meaning even if I leaned on it or somebody put the coat on it, it's disqualified. So it's very, you have to be very careful. And all these years they were looking for a perfect red heifer in Israel and they couldn't find one. They found a few, but then they got disqualified because it's a small country. So finally, 3 years ago, somebody decided that they want to look for the red heifers all over. And they found that there's a special kind of cow called Red Angus. And this cow is, you can find a lot of them in Texas. So they decided to go on a journey from farm to farm in Texas to look for a good red heifer. In the beginning, they were pretty disappointed because every farm they got to, they found that the cows have a little bit hairs in different colors that even the farmers didn't realize. So it's very something very small. But then somebody told them that there's one farmer that has the most beautiful looking cows and his cows win Miss America every year and they should check with him. And the head of the institute called this farmer and he said, "Shalom, I'm calling from Jerusalem. I know it sounds weird, but I'm looking for a red heifer. Maybe you could help me." And the guy said, "Of course, I'm a Christian. I know all about the red heifers. And not only that, when I decided to raise cattle 30 years ago, I chose the Red Angus because I thought maybe one day my cows could serve in the temple."
Well, Yair, there they are.
Wow.
Moria, how many years has it been since there were red heifers in Israel? I mean, this is
Probably more than 2,000.
more than 2,000 years since the destruction of the temple.
Right. The Rambam said, the Maimonides says that there were 9 red heifers in our history.
Here, when you see these heifers, what do you see? I want from a Levite, the dream of the Jewish people for 2,000 years was to come back to worship Hashem, God, on the Temple Mount.
People sometimes think when I'm going to the temple or you're going to the Western Wall, they're asking me, "Why are you praying for the wall?" And I'm trying to explain to them, no, I'm praying here because it's the closest place to the temple. And same thing with the red heifer. It's not that we are praying in Buddhism or something
Right.
for animals. This is another sign that, as all the signs that we see now in Israel, with the farms, with all the things that you see, that it's part of things that written in the prophecies that just happening in front of our eyes. So to see it, I don't know what the future is, but when I see it, it's like a big sign that something big gonna happen.
I should say that the red heifers, like I said, are key for the temple. And the temple is the house of prayer and love for all nations.
Hey, today's a really exciting day. We're here in ancient Shiloh with the red heifers. More than that, we have Yair Levy, a Levite that knows all about the process. What are we even talking about? Well, we're going to dig into that in just 1 minute. Yair's meeting up with us right here in ancient Shiloh.